Going to run through 2 more days of footage on Lilyfield Road. These are shot on the 23rd and 24th of September in the afternoon. And it's just much the same as the previous clip that I sent in. You can see down here, that's probably not the world's most sensible overtake given there's a blind corner there, but drivers of course continue to do so because they're in such a hurry. Nothing new with you drivers, especially if they're running to somewhere out west. You notice not using the slip lane on the left there. That's because of where that car's parked, and look at where the bike symbol is. That would lead you smack bang into the back of that vehicle. Suggest actually putting some cones on that corner where those 3 cars were, and just not let people park there. Now we're coming up to this corner where previously the bike lane has been blocked off as you go around the corner. So here we go, there's a big black 4-wheel drive, and look, the lane looks open as we come around the corner, and whoop, we get to that point and suddenly you can see there's cones there not very far ahead. So if you went into the bike lane, you'd have to very quickly get out of it again and hope there's no cars speeding up behind you who would run into you from behind as you tried to transition back from the bike lane to the traffic lane in a hurry. Okay, so let's just speed it up through here. There's really nothing happening. And what happens when we get up to this intersection here? Well, firstly, look, why is that sign protruding into the bike lane and this other one? And not much of a gap there when you get drivers doing this. And I actually, banged on a window as I went past and told her to get out of the bike lane. Treating the bike lane as a left turn lane, which is really nothing new along here. Get some drivers doing pretty stupid stuff. Signage, again, this sign is probably pushed too far over to the right, just intruding into the bike lane, but that one's okay, can live with that. And then we get to the flag person. Okay, here we have the rear view again. You can see probably 20% of the bike lane's taken up by signage. That one's hardly intruding, but there's that driver using the bike lane as a left turn lane. We'll see a bit more of that in a moment. Right, here's the next day, and what do we got? Have we got another vehicle parked there? Yes, and look, there's a sign there in the bike lane as you come around the corner. And is it open? Well, it's a detour sign, but what does that mean? Does that mean turn right at that corner? Or, look, there's cones here. So I guess the detour means detour out of the bike lane onto the road. It's really not clear what that sign means. And I've been around there multiple times, and it's doesn't really mean much to cyclists. What I mean is that the cones should block the entire lane from where that parked vehicle is. You just shouldn't be letting cyclists into that lane whatsoever. Now, this section is a good indication of just how many people are running through here in the afternoon. This is 4:45, and look how many vehicles are queued up. You can go and rewind this if you like and count them, because I can't be bothered. But this is a pretty good indication of the volume of traffic that goes through here. And remembering that most of these people probably doing this every single day, they're wanting to avoid that little section of City West Link, so they come up here and then they turn left at either across the bridge or Balmain Road, etc. And for once, they're not doing above the speed limit, etc. It's pretty unusual to not see people absolutely racing through here. Let's have a look at the signage as we come through here, as we're going into the sun. What do we see? It looks right. That sign's just intruding into the bike lane. I do wish they would learn to not put any signage in the bike lane. That one's clearly out of the bike lane. Right, slow down for the pedestrian, and look at this, people turning left, parked across the bike lane. It's a clear risk, that. And then look, we've got the sign here that's fallen over and is taking up well over 50% of the bike lane. So that's really a bad hazard, and that's not the first time that's been there. And then we come up to the traffic controller. So that's it, 2 more days, and you can see there's still issues with signage and issues with driver behaviour. I've actually got 2 suggestions on how to fix this. First is on this corner, get rid of parking on the corner where that vehicle is. And the second thing is start the traffic cones back here, so that as because sight lines are an issue on this corner, and you don't want to have cyclists going around the corner and then suddenly finding themselves in a bit of a pickle because they suddenly have to get out of the bike lane. So it's just going to be a loss of one parking space. Essentially from that red no stopping sign there should be no parking in front of it. Also on here, you can see the cones in front where that ute is going around the corner, and where those cones start changes every day. It seems to depend on, I don't know how many coffees the cone people had that morning, or whether they had a bacon egg roll or not. There should be a line of cones coming around here completely blocking the bike lane from the very start, so forces cyclists to stay out in the traffic lane, and the cones should stretch back far enough that as you're coming up towards this section, you can see the bike lane's going to be blocked off. You can see that there's no vehicle where where this black vehicle is. There should be no vehicle. You got nice clear sight lines around the corner, and you just have to stay out here and take the lane, and stay in that lane for as long as you have to, because this corner, it's a blind corner. You've got vehicles stopped there. That's a real hazard. Third thing, don't put signage in the bike lanes. It's as simple as that, either partly intruding or fully intruding. Have them outside the bike lane. This should be an absolute no-no. You can't squeeze cyclists out of the bike lane into the road in a location like this. And here's some bonus footage. Just watch this car as it goes around the corner. Look at that. This is the lady we saw earlier on, who was sitting in the bike lane up at this intersection. And I had a look at the rear footage as well, and she seemed to be wandering around the lanes as she was coming up the road. And you can see at about this point she's just driven smack bang into the bike lane to get around this corner. Possibly distracted, maybe on a phone. I didn't look as I went past and banged on a window. Who knows? But
get out of the bike lane.